Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. That's what Cris Cyborg is saying about the UFC booking Megan Anderson to fight Holly Holm and not her. Now, this is interesting because Megan Anderson is a legitimate featherweight that has been calling out Cyborg after every time Cyborg gets a win. And now it looks like Megan Anderson is just clout chasing. Clout chaser alert, clout chaser alert, because it looks like a lot of these girls, as Cyborg has said, will use her name to kind of build their careers and jumpstart their careers. But whenever it's actually time to sign the dotted line and put it on contract, these girls have some type of excuse. Oh, I'm not ready. Oh, I'm doing this. I'm having a baby. I'm injured. You know, there's a million excuses for a lot of these girls. Now, there has been some girls like Holly Holm who have said, you know what, let's get it done. Now, and you know, it might have been a little bit of contract negotiations there even, but at the same time, there are a lot of girls that do say, hey, I'm willing to fight Cris Cyborg. And then when Cyborg says, okay, let's get it on, even the UFC champion Amanda Nunes recently, they're not really keeping that same energy. Now, with that being said, the UFC has booked Holly Holm versus Megan Anderson. The winner of this fight is for sure going to fight Cris Cyborg, in my opinion. But the thing is, what if you want a fresh matchup or a legitimate featherweight for Cris Cyborg to fight? I would have assumed Megan Anderson would be getting the Cris Cyborg fight immediately. We've seen it before. Yana Kunitskaya came out of the UFC. She wasn't a UFC competitor. She was signed from Invicta. She came and fought Cyborg for the title. So this girl, Megan Anderson, who's been calling Cyborg out multiple times, now that she's booked in the UFC, it's not to fight Cyborg. And it's like, whoa, you've been calling her out, and now you're coming over, and you're not even going for an immediate title shot. And now this is my thought. What if Holly Holm beats Megan Anderson? Now, Megan Anderson's not fighting for the title next. She might have to get a couple more wins in the UFC, and now it's like we're looking at a Holly Holm Cris Cyborg rematch. And then if we do see that, it's going to be that, well, she's still not a legitimate featherweight. So with that being said, that's why I was kind of surprised Megan Anderson's not fighting Cyborg, because I know Cyborg wants to fight a legitimate featherweight. And now we've got the legitimate featherweight actually signed to fight someone, and it's Holly Holm. Holly Holm's one of the best fighters in the UFC, one of the best female fighters. She's been fighting main events, championship fights for her last 4 or 5 fights. She hasn't won all of them, but she's fighting 5-round fights against the best fighters in the world. She's even just fought Cris Cyborg, one of the girls that actually came in and agreed. So Holly Holm's got a very good chance of beating Megan Anderson, and if she does, now we just lost that legitimate featherweight who Cyborg's been waiting for. So maybe we'll see a Holly Holm Cyborg rematch if that's the case, or who knows what happens. But Cyborg said she's not surprised. Like, it's another chick who's saying my name, and now she's fighting someone else. Amanda Nunes was super down to fight Cris Cyborg. Super down. Champion versus champion. Cris Cyborg gave her 1,000,000 outs. I don't want to fight another Brazilian. I want to fight a legitimate featherweight. Nah, not right now. You know, maybe on a big card. And Amanda Nunes said, no, don't care what card. It's got nothing personal, nothing to do with Brazil. Let's get it going. And Cyborg said, okay, you asked for it. Let's go, Amanda Nunes. And she's like, but Raquel Pennington, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's just another example of girls who say they're willing to fight Cris Cyborg. But if Cris Cyborg actually said, I'll fight you, who knows if they're going to keep that same energy. Cris Cyborg is one of the best female fighters on the planet, if not the best female fighter. It's hard for us to gauge because, yes, she dominates everyone she fights, but a lot of these girls don't stand on the dotted line. But with that being said, right now, as far as I'm concerned, Cris Cyborg, #1 P for P. She's beat Holly Holm. I wish she would have got to fight Amanda Nunes, but that's another fight that can happen. Maybe if Holly Holm wins versus Megan Anderson, Amanda Nunes steps up and she takes the fight. Or we see Holly Holm versus Cyborg rematch. Let me know in the comments what you would rather see. Do you think Megan Anderson should have came and immediately fought Cyborg? Are you down for the Holly Holm Cyborg rematch if she beats Megan Anderson? Or do you say, fuck it, man, let's wait for UFC 224, see what happens, and maybe we see Nunes versus Cyborg, champion versus champion super fight, because that would be dope too. I mean, that would be kind of closing the chapter on Ronda Rousey for Cyborg. Hey, I beat Holm and Nunes, both the girls that starched you, so there's no question if I would beat you. I beat both of them. Also, there's no more giving me any more bantamweights if I'm Cris Cyborg. Don't give me no more bantamweight girls because I beat Amanda Nunes. So not only did I close the book on Ronda Rousey, I closed the book on these bantamweights. Now let's get some featherweights in here. Megan Anderson, whoever. And let's see Cris Cyborg dominate her real division and build the division like she wants to. With that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time fan know what you think in the comments. Cris Cyborg's not surprised the UFC booked Megan Anderson to fight Holly Holm and not her. I'm out. And as always, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. I'm out.
This is #1 bullshit.